This week, County Executive Marc Elrich vetoed a bill that would have provided tax incentives to real estate developers to build more housing in the county. He said it was a giveaway to the developers. 20 years worth of no taxes. How dare they? In response, Mr. Elrich is proposing to require developers to increase the number of moderately priced dwelling units, the MPDU program, in their development. Mike, it seems to me I'm not quite a layperson looking at it objectively, but that the battle between the council and the executive is just an admission by both groups that they've screwed things up so royally that they don't know how to fix it.
No, and I think that's very true. I mean, we have strayed so far from the path of how you actually build housing in our community that now we're trying to tweak things that are on the margin and on the edges, which at the end of the day, while laudable that this passed the council with the number of votes that it did, the reality is it's still just tinkering on the margin. When you're dealing with situations like, and I was just listening to a report from the Fuller Institute a couple weeks ago, Dallas, Texas has created 456,000 new jobs over the last 5 years. We've created 5,000 here. One of the big reasons that they've created those numbers of jobs is because while housing prices have increased across the country, housing is still more plentiful because they've not so completely overregulated the process that people can actually move there, businesses can move there and relocate there and know that their employees can find housing. We are so far away from that we almost have to throw everything out and start over from scratch.
That's a great segue to Marc, because this morning on CNBC there was an economist talking about the housing market and the fact that yes, interest rates are important to the housing market, and yes, that is a key. But actually, if you want more rapid development of housing, 25% of the cost of housing is from overregulation. It's from overregulation by the counties. So as Mike just suggested, how do you save the baby when you're throwing out the bathwater?
Well, I was going to make the observation, you don't want to spend more on lawyers and lobbyists than you are on architects and engineers. And the Rube Goldberg nature of the county's system of, you can build something, but you can get a bonus if you do X or Y or Z, makes this process really much more expensive. What makes for affordable housing is when a developer can go into a piece of land and as of right decide to build something and build it relatively quickly, and so that they don't have to have the carrying costs for an extended period of time. I look around in the county and near me there's a project that was supposed to start years ago. It's got affordable housing as part of it, but it's been part of a very, very protracted process, which makes it all that much more expensive.
A couple of weeks ago, the Post ran an article, I believe it was the Post, that talked about a development project in Tacoma Park that's been stalled for almost 20 years. Yeah. Now, and keep in mind, this is near a metro station. I mean, the smart growth, advocacy of Paris Glendenning would have said, build that, development. Let's build it there and see, and move forward. Mike, what happened to the master plan that we had for so many years? I mean, you saw this on the council. How do you go back? Can you go back to it?
Well, we really have to engage a conversation and get our community to understand what this looks like. If you talk to most elected folks, they will say housing, housing, housing. That's a really important issue. But when you have the discussion with communities and you're not having a candid discussion about what that can mean and what that doesn't mean, we can bring all kinds of boogeymen out of the closet and say, well, it's going to be this, it's going to be this. Unfortunately, the county executive has won on the basis of people who don't want to see development. So there's a strong base of people who don't want to see additional growth. And so when Park and Planning came out with proposals last year to actually try to engage this conversation, he immediately vilified it and got people all up in arms, as opposed to recognizing that we're tens of thousands of units behind in this community and region. and we're just not making any progress. And as a result, people can't afford to live here. You've got to have a real conversation, but you've got to put it on the table and bring people to that table and have a discussion about it in order to be able to move this forward.
Marc, last thoughts.
Well, Mike's right, and we need to recognize that unfortunately there are both winners and losers in this. The losers are the people who are priced out of the market, and the winners are the people who are homeowners who see the increase in prices and that makes things so much unaffordable. And that's a constituency that Marc Elrich has been able to tap into.